PUBG took the world by storm when it released in 2017, and it was the first big game in the Battle Royale genre and inspired many other games like Fortnite, Apex Legends, and Warzone. But there is also another game very similar to PUBG called Garena Free Fire, and to this day it is more popular than PUBG itself with well over 1 billion downloads. This game also holds the record for esports viewership with over 5 million live viewers, yet it seems like most people have never even heard of it. In this video we will go over the factors that let Free Fire grow bigger, the massive lawsuit between both games, and the future of these two games. Free Fire was a game created by Garena, a Singaporean game developer and publisher. They released Free Fire exactly 5 months after the release of PUBG, right around when PUBG was really exploding in popularity with millions of concurrent players. When put side by side, these games were extremely similar, but the one thing that really helped Free Fire grow was the fact that it was a mobile game. While PUBG was only accessible on PC and cost money, Free Fire was available on mobile and was free to play, making it the go-to game for people that wanted to play PUBG but couldn't because they either didn't have a computer or the money to buy the game. This would make Free Fire popular in many developing countries such as India, a majority of South America, and throughout the Southeast. And the game did grow a lot. It was getting hundreds of millions of downloads and growing faster than PUBG. This obviously caught their attention, and they will end up releasing PUBG Mobile on March 19th of 2018, about 7 months after Free Fire had released. And this would basically create competition between the two games, with Free Fire having been in the mobile market first, but PUBG having the brand recognition. And PUBG Mobile would obviously do well, with over 500 million downloads on the Google Play Store. This would split up the players of Free Fire, since quite a few of them had switched over to PUBG because of the brand, but others stayed because they already had levels, skins, and experience in Free Fire. And for the next 2 years there was a clear split between PUBG Mobile and Free Fire, though PUBG overall was losing its hype with the release of Fortnite Battle Royale, since they both shared a similar Western audience. But in 2020, India, the largest player base of these games, would ban PUBG Mobile due to rising military tensions with China, since PUBG was published by a company called Krafton, which had relations with Tencent, which was a Chinese company. This would basically take away the competition, and Free Fire would now be the best option for a mobile battle royale game in India. So paired with PUBG's decline and its ban in India, Free Fire would become the biggest battle royale game. However, PUBG would later come out with a different game specifically for India called Battlegrounds Mobile India, and this would get over 100 million downloads, but still wasn't bigger than Free Fire, and it would also end up getting banned again for being too addictive and not providing any warnings. It was also around this time that Free Fire had achieved its peak in esports, with over 5.4 million live viewers compared to PUBG's 3.8 million, but even in previous years, Free Fire was still beating PUBG. In 2020 they had 2.5 million compared to PUBG's 1.5, and in 2019 it was 2 million compared to PUBG's 600,000. You can also see that this was when Fortnite was at its peak, which definitely contributed to the lower numbers. The only time PUBG beat Free Fire in esports was 2018, with PUBG Mobile having 400,000 and PUBG on PC having 760,000 and Free Fire only having 12,000. But this was most likely because Free Fire was only just emerging onto the esports scene. So even before the ban of PUBG, Free Fire was still on top, but the ban just propelled it even farther ahead. But In February of 2022, Ganera Free Fire would also end up getting banned in India along with 53 other apps due to more tensions about security in the country. However, I specified Ganera Free Fire as another version of the game called Free Fire Max was still available, so it didn't have exactly the same effect as PUBG's ban, but was still a big blow. The biggest thing this affected was the esports scene, with them having a 73% decrease in viewership in 2022, sitting at only 1.4 million viewers. And while this was very low, it was still higher than PUBG Mobile, which got 900,000, just further proving how Free Fire was larger than PUBG. And even though this ban was supposed to be temporary, there is still no sign of any unbanned date. But this ban is quite easy to bypass with a VPN, as the game is only banned in the region-specific Apple App Store and Google Play Store. So by connecting to a VPN, people are still able to download Free Fire in India, which explains why there are still tons of videos uploaded on the game from India, and this shows how the game still hasn't lost its popularity. But it was also around this time where another problem rose. PUBG would end up suing Garena Free Fire and Free Fire Max for copying their game. And this also isn't the first time they've done something like this. In 2018, they sued both Epic Games and NetEase for copying their game. They sued Epic Games over Fortnite and NetEase over Knives Out and Rule of Survival. The Fortnite lawsuit ended up getting dropped without any settlement, most likely because Tencent had ownership in both Epic Games and Krafton and was earning a bunch of money from both Fortnite and PUBG. And since Tencent is the second largest shareholder in Krafton, they most likely told them to drop the lawsuit as it would hurt Tencent. But the other lawsuit with NetEase ended up a little bit more different. The case went on for over a year before they reached an undisclosed settlement. However, Krafton complains that NetEase violated the agreements, and they have just went into trial for that in May of 2023. Regardless, these lawsuits haven't affected any of the games yet, as Fortnite, Knives Out, and Rule of Survival are still available for download without any sort of big changes in them as a result of the lawsuits. But this new case is a bit different than the previous ones. PUBG is not only going after Free Fire and Free Fire Max, they're also going after both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store for allowing Free Fire onto their platform. And they're also suing them for the revenue generated by those games. But as of today, the games are still available on the stores, and it seems like Google and Apple are just ignoring this case until there is some sort of legal ruling. And it is most likely that the case will not be favorable to PUBG, since they weren't the creators of the Battle Royale genre, and they have also had a history of suing other Battle Royale games, which never ended up favorably to PUBG. So, what does the future look like for both PUBG and Free Fire? Well, currently Free Fire is more popular than PUBG, and most likely will stay that way, especially if the ban gets lifted in India. But if Ganera were to lose the lawsuit, they would most likely be forced to delete both the Free Fire games, which would obviously put PUBG at the top. But by looking at the esports numbers, Free Fire is far behind PUBG for 2023, but there haven't been any massive tournaments yet. So we would have to wait for the World Series later this year to come to any sort of conclusion in terms of esports popularity.